Good afternoon, everyone. Have you ever thought about visiting Taipei?
Yes.
Thank you. How about Lada?
Yeah, actually, I've heard the food is amazing and there's so much to see.
Same here. That got me thinking, what will the influence student like us to visit Taipei?
Good question. So today, I'll be sharing the key factor that affect university student visitation intention to Taipei. Once again, good afternoon, professor and audience. We're from ITH department. I'm Lara, this is Cho, T, and Amane. So let's begin with our presentation. And this is our table of contents, so it consists of 6 contents. Let's begin with my part. To start with, tourism play a key role in Taiwan economy and domestic travel. So in 2023, Taiwanese tourists have made 206.7 million domestic trips, so the number has even more higher than the pandemic period. Moreover, in the chart, you can see that in 2022, the domestic travel rate has been increasing for 4.5 percentage points. This shows not only the growing mobility of people travel locally, but also how important it is to supporting local business and culture. Moreover, for the Taiwanese Bureau rate in 2023, is how the survey that youth travel is a potential group and accounted for 30.2% of total domestic travel. This shows Taipei serves as an ideal case study for exploring youth travel intention. So let's see the theory behind this. So what really is the theory of planned behavior or TPB? TPB explains how behavior are influenced by shaping in-person intention to act. This is from 1991, and the other consists of 2 variables. The first one is attitude or ATT. ATT is whether someone has a positive or negative feeling about the behavior. For example, if students believe that going to Taipei will give them a memorable and enjoyable experience, they will be more likely to go there. The second one is subjective norm or SN. So it is the social pressure they feel from people around them. This including friends, family, or the closer people. So if the closer people like motivate them to go there, they will feel like, oh, you want to go there. And the last one is procedural control or PPC. So it's how easy or difficult they believe the action will be. This including like the construct like the barriers, like time, money, or languages. So the more control the more likely they are to go there. And another variable is behavioral intention or BI. So what is BI? BI is someone's willingness to travel and explore new places. Based on the past study, the factors such as destination image, perceived quality, or satisfaction can also influence on this intention. And our last variable is destination image or BI. BI is the overall perception or a set of impressions that people have of a travel destination based on their knowledge, feelings, and past experiences. So an image of Taipei, both knowledge and emotionally, can influence on their travel visitation intention. So that brings us to our research gap. So we have lack of the theory of planned behavior because they study focusing on the youth travelers. Moreover, we also have a little use of destination image or DI as our extended factor in the theory of planned behavior framework. So to fulfill this gap, our study will expand the theory of planned behavior and that we will provide the hands-on insight for promoting youth travel to Taipei. And this is our research framework. So we are consists of 4 variables, and we assume that these 4 variables must have the positive influence to the visitation intention of the young tourist. So let's move our attention to the methodology part.
Thank you for the introduction part. Let's moving forward to the methodology section. So in this study, we authorized the quantitative survey by the 5 main constructs in the total of 28 items and are rated by the 5-point Likert scale. All the items was adapted from the previous literature related to the trio plan behavior and the destination image. Following the supervisor advice, the open-ended question was incorporated to our survey to understand about the respondent intention. So we applied Google Form to distribute the online survey, and the questionnaire was developed in both English and Chinese to ensure the clarity and accessibility in both local and international students who study I-Shou University, which is the target audience of our research. And for the sampling method used was a combination between the progressive sampling, which target the student who has previously visited Taipei, and the snowball sampling, which can help us to reach a more larger and more diverse of the participants. So to analyze the data, the ANOVA was used to summarize the demographic statistics, and also SPSS 18.0 versions were used to examine the reliability statistics as well as the relationship between the dependent variables and the independent variables by applying the multiple linear regression analysis. So for this technique in this study, the minimum of 82 samples is required to meet the sample size guideline and to ensure the accuracy and reliability of our data. So in terms of the data collection, we also conduct a pilot test with 7 participants to ensure the quality and relevance of our item. Then, after the 2 months of data collection period between January to February 2025, 310 responders built. However, 275 were retained for the analysis, and other 28 were excluded due to the incomplete. Now, let's focus on the respondent profile. As you can see from the graph, majority of our respondents were female, with the age between 18 to 24. As you can see, is the average age of the college student, and most of them are studying the business related and came from Taiwan, with the monthly income approximately 10 to 15,000 per month. Additionally, for the open-ended questions, the results show that most of them mainly visit Taipei for entertainment and traveling, as you can see from the graph here. And when we asked about how they perceive the Taipei, they mentioned that they about the city characteristics and the infrastructure, and highlighted that Taipei is the modern, dynamic, and well-developed destination. Furthermore, we also analyzed the common method bias, which accounting for less than 40%, which pointing out that our respondents completing the survey carefully. For the next part, we will moving forward to the results.
Thank you, Joe. Now, let's take a closer look at our result analysis. According to the table 2, there is strong correlation coefficient of 0.789 and the R-star value of 0.623. It shows that both registers together explain 62.3% of the variance in the student behavior intention. Furthermore, in the comparison of the R-star value table, there is an increase between the original TPP model and our extended TPP version. It means that adding destination image improves the model explanatory power and making it as a valuable addition to TPP research framework. Furthermore, in order the reliability of this 5 construct were excellent, were on above with the complex and fair values on above the threshold of 0.7. It shows a high internal consistency. And let's take a closer look at high hypothesis testing results. Firstly, attitude and subjective norms have a positive impact. Notably, destination increase were the most significant predictor, and these all hypotheses will have a p-value less than 0.001. However, perceived behavior control with a p-value equal to 0.655, there is no significant relationship between BPC and BI. To conclude, our hypothesis 1, hypothesis 2, and 4 are confirmed. However, hypothesis 3 was rejected. Building on the result, let's explore our discussion part. Firstly, regarding attitude, there's a strong connection between the student positive feelings toward Taipei and their behavior intention. Our previous study also showed that how a positive attitude leads to stronger intention. Secondly, subjective norms are not only value friends, family support, but also the social pressure they create. And also, other literatures also mention that if they see as the friend and family as the source of travel recommendation. Now, on to the C behavior control. There's no significant relationship between PBC and PI. Some studies show that if students want to go, some practical barriers such as time, resources, and money will still hold them back. Now, lastly, destination image is the most significant factor in our hypothesis. If the student have the positive feeling of Taipei and the emotional impressions is greatly enhance the travel intention. However, there are some still concerns relevant to the environment and the cleanliness. So the improvement is a need. To grasp our hypothesis, let's jump to the conclusion.
So let me summarize key findings of our study. We found that attitude, subjective norm, and destination image significantly influence student travel intention. Among this, destination image was the strongest factor, meaning that students who think Taipei is attractive are more likely to want to visit. Attitude and subjective norm also have a significant effect. It's highlighting that these roles play an important role in shaping student travel intention. However, perceived behavior control did not show a significant effect. For example, practical barriers like time, money, and confidence still held them back, suggesting that emotional and social factors were stronger than practical ones. Theoretically, this study extends theory of prime behavior model by adding destination image, which make it more powerful in explaining travel behavior. Besides, this study looks at the theory of prime behavior theory in case of young travelers in Taipei. It shows that destination image and subjective norm have a positive factor, but perceived behavior control might not be very relevant. Practically, to attract more student travelers, marketers should focus on promoting positive impact of Taipei, such as its culture, food, and affordability. Also, offering discount and improving affordable transport can help students feel more confident to travel. Lastly, use social media and student influencer can be effectively reach audience. As for the limitation, the sample was not random, so future research could include more diverse participants and use interview to get deeper insights. Other factors like prior experience and culture value could also be explored. To conclude, our study shows that destination image, attitude, and subjective norm are key to understanding student travel intention. These findings support both tourism theory and practical marketing practice for promoting domestic tourism. So ladies and gentlemen, I also hope this presentation encourage all of you to think more deeply about what truly affects us to travel. Thank you for your attention.
Well, I'll go ahead and begin. Did you notice anything about your second screen? You moved it real fast. I was really impressed by that. That was really cool. Yeah. Oh. Now go back. Oh. No, go back. No.
This is the first.
Yeah. Are any of you Spanish speakers? I'm kidding. No, it just reinforces my earlier point. It's really irrelevant. But I'm very, very curious about that idea of the motivators. And when you're talking on this subject of influencing people and getting people to do it, like a yay tour, the grandma tour, go to Fukushima or whatever. The idea of why people travel and how people go, and the idea of food, or you're gay, or love movies or whatever you want. But I think that there is so many opportunities to explore this because it's such a niche market, and especially the relationship between Japan and Taiwan as far as, you know, really serious travel sharing. I think this is a market that's almost untouched. So I encourage you, please continue in this direction.
Thank you
Thank you so much.
I agree with Paul. This is a very interesting.
Speak up.
Okay.
Yeah.
So anyway, this is a very interesting topic, and I think not so many people will focus on how students will travel. Based on your finding, I just want to know about your result, because in your data collection you have local students and also international students. But did you ever try to test these two groups of people independently and see if the result would be something different? Because the behavioral control variable is that the hypothesis 3 is not significant. But if you separate this group of students, local students and international students, will the result be the same?
Thank you so much for your questions. And I really appreciate it because we also already applied the one-way ANOVA to test that we separate the local student and the international student. But our limitations is we have more respondents from the Taiwanese students. So when we applied it, there's no significant variance between these two groups because one is too large and the other is quite small. But we will apply it and put more research into these two groups. Thank you so much.
First of all, great presentation, thank you very much. And also a very, very interesting subject, so thank you. I just wondered, why did you choose to extend the theory of planned behavior with destination images? And how does that extension improve the explanatory power of the model? So at what point and why did you decide to involve the images?
Okay, thank you so much for your questions. I appreciate it. Okay, so because the R-square value will explain the model fit of our model, so we saw that it increased between these two models. First, we applied the So in the original model, there's an increase from the original model and our extended model. So we found that is a more explanatory power in this one. And we also chose DI as our extended because there are also other previous studies show that it has the direct influence to the DI as well. So that's why we extended the TPP with DI.
Yeah, that's a good answer. And also with increased screen time and stuff these days, it's probably an even more important factor. So
The more of the R-square value, the better the model it is.
great, thank you very much.